Pull out your dicks, get ready to fap. It's time for your favorite show, The Grease Trap. Pull out your dicks, get ready to fap. It's time for your favorite show, Grease Trap.
Hey everybody, welcome to the Grease Trap.
Hello, hello.
Hey.
How you doing out there?
How you doing, TJ?
How you doing?
I have some unsolicited shilling to do. Like, we're not getting paid, but I'm a big incense guy, and I tried out a new brand, and it's my favorite brand now.
All right, what you got?
Right there, dude.
Oh, yeah, those are good.
Go Nesh brand. I got like a big mixed pack of like 10 different scents of Go Nesh.
Yeah, that's been my go-to brand for incense for a while, I guess.
I've never tried it, so
their shit's quality. It's good stuff. Yeah, they sell that at like the head shop near me. So
yeah, I burn my sticks double now.
Hell yeah.
I got a big old fucking incense burner.
I gotta say, we used to burn a lot of incense around here, and I don't think we really do that anymore. So
I'm a big aromatherapy guy. Like, I know it sounds lame and like new agey or whatever.
Yeah.
But it helps with my like anxiety and shit to have like get certain kinds of smells in the air. Like, help to calm me.
Yeah, I can get there's certain incense that can be irritating to me, but sometimes it can be nice.
I like the way that, like, when I'm sitting here doing a show or whatever and I burn a bunch of sticks, I go out and I can smell it on me. Like, I like that hippie, I burn incense all day smell.
Yeah.
So I dig it, dude. I've embraced my hippiedom. Like, I didn't realize I was a hippie for a long time, and my stepdad had to tell me. Because I was like, man, I was talking with my stepdad. He was a hippie, you know?
Yeah.
And so I was like, man, I wish the fucking hippies were still around and blah, blah, blah. I was born in the wrong generation, Dad. And he's like, son, you are a fucking hippie. I don't know what you're talking about. He's like, you smoke weed all day. You've got hair down to your ass. You're a hippie. Like, what do you want? And I was like, oh, sweet. I'm a hippie. Cool. All right. I'll take it.
Yeah. Why the fuck not? So
what's
tasty.
the problem?
So tasty. So I guess I was asking you guys before, if you'd ever seen that show, The Boys, on Amazon Prime.
People have been tried. Like, it's one of those shows that I haven't watched because people are so fucking insistent that I watch it. You know?
Oh, damn. I hate that.
But I'll do it. I take it differently from you. Like,
Right.
you tell me that it's really worth me watching, I will skip past my stupid, obstinate contrarianism.
So
because I trust your opinion, but like all these other people running to me going, "You go what shit?" I don't know them from Adam. Like, I don't want to waste my time.
I mean, I'm not going to say that it's like a flawless show or anything, but if you are someone who ostensibly kind of is into like the superhero genre, but is like kind of like sick of its conventions and shit, I would say it's because the whole premise of the show is that superheroes are just a bunch of like narcissistic douchebag celebrities. Like, imagine like, you know, the worst fucking most attention whore celebrity you can. That's like a sociopathic, narcissistic piece of shit, but like with the powers, with the powers of like Superman or something, you know?
They're like the Watchmen when they were old before they became kind of like,
I would say
they're celebrities.
Yeah, it's kind of like that. They're all like totally corporate controlled and shit. There's like this dude Homelander who's like a Superman kind of stand-in, but he's like a total psychopath. Just like there's like scenes where he goes like on a plane. This plane is gonna crash, and he gets on the plane, and there's like some little girl crying, and he like leans in next to her, and he's like, "Don't worry, you know, Homelander's here." And then he realizes that when he lasered the terrorists, he accidentally killed the pilot and co-pilot and totally destroyed the landing gear. So he's just like, oh, well, this plane's fucked. Let's get out of here. And the people are like, well, can't we at least save the kids? It's like, no, because then they'll tell an unflattering story about how we couldn't save the rest of them. Let's just get the fuck out of here. Fuck these people. And the people are like, please save us, Homelander. He's like, get the fuck back. I'll laser you. He's got like his laser eyes all glowing and shit.
Yeah.
And he's just like total piece of shit. Total narcissist, but like no one can stop him because he's got the fucking powers of Superman and shit.
Right. Is he played by the guy that did Bones in the Star Trek movies?
No, but that
'Cause I
dude
know
is dude is in it. That's Carl Urban.
I've seen him.
Yeah, he's
Carl Urban. Yeah.
he's like the main. I don't really know what you'd call him. He's like kind of like a fucked up Obi-Wan Kenobi kind of character, where he's like kind of a mentor to the main character of the series. But
I mean, I think the
totally
main thing that
fucked up, irresponsible one.
I think the main thing that's kept me from being into that series is the fact that it's a superhero thing. So
yeah,
if it turns the convention on its head, I'll check it out.
Yeah,
and
it's
just another
a lot of
superhero
people.
Shit.
It's not. I mean, like it's I think it kind of uses superheroes as allegory to like address like a lot of like social issues, and it has a super like left leaning bent and like anti patriotism and anti corporatism and shit. It's like super strong in that kind of direction.
Well, maybe I'll check it out then. I know that they just like,
and on top of that, it's really fucked up and subversive, and they like there's all kinds of really twisted, fucked up shit in there. It's by the same dude who wrote Preacher, so that's that kind of like really, really dark, over the top, bleak sense of humor.
It was the same guy that wrote Preacher that did the series?
Garth Ennis, yeah.
Yeah, Garth Ennis.
Yep.
I thought he was dead.
What happened to that?
He might be
show.
Did it?
He might be dead, but the Preacher show, it went 4 seasons, and I think it wrapped itself up. I watched the first 2.5, and then I kind of fell off a little bit, but I've been meaning to go back and do it because I didn't fall off because it was bad. It was just life shit.
Yeah.
But I think The Boys definitely better captures the Garth Ennis kind of sense of humor that I remember from his comics.
You know, the guy was Steve Dillon, the illustrator.
Oh, really? That sucks.
No, it wasn't Garth Ennis.
That dude was.
Oh yeah, he died.
Dude, that dude's line work was fucking impeccable. That guy was like, his line work was crazy good. Steve Dillon.
Yeah, you didn't know Steve Dillon died?
No. Oh wow, he looks pretty bad. Did he have cancer?
I believe he did.
Okay. That sucks. No, his art was great. Like, totally, like, just like, I don't know if I've ever seen, like, cleaner or better lines in a fucking comic before. Like, you look at some of his black and white art, it really fucking stands out. Like, a lot of times when people just, like, draw something with lines, like, they can't get the depth in there, so it's almost kind of hard to tell what you're looking at, especially as it gets more complicated. You never had that problem with his. It was always, like, crystal clear. Here's a good example right here.
Yeah, he's definitely got a cool style. It's hard for me with comic books and stuff because I like so many different styles of them. Like that really strong line work that you just showed is one of the styles that I like. I also like the really like abstract ones where it's very like. Have you seen those? Like where it's skittery. That's kind of how the Sabretooth comic was drawn.
Mm-hmm.
It had like a
like where they have like the real like the sketch lines are still like like yeah. That was a cool. It was like a very 90s thing. I always liked that too.
Yeah,
you saw that like in like Spawn kind of did that.
Yep.
Like a lot of these really like, especially like the super extreme like 90s shit. They kind of like embrace that kind of like look and style. A lot of the Dark Horse comics back in the 90s were drawn in that style. And some of the Dark Horse comics back in the 90s, though, were drawn in a super clean, super well-defined line style, too. I like them both. Like, I really don't have a preference. I love artistic expression in the form of comic books. Like, I love the different artist hand and the emotion that has to be conveyed in each panel. Yeah, I mean,
like it's a real art form. And people that are good at it, like you can really tell. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah, like the story. I mean, it's almost like you gotta like. It's almost like you're showing people like a movie, but you know, you're just showing them like the storyboards almost. You know? Yeah,
you get a still frame of the movie, and it's up to your imagination to fill the scene out as it's going. You know?
Oh yeah, yeah. It's been a long time because comics. It's like, I'll tell you what, reading comics can be a fucking goddamn expensive ass hobby. Like I was into it for a while, but like it got to the point where I'm like, man, this is just like draining my fucking money. Now,
see, I started when I was a teenager and I had some, pocket change from doing odd jobs and mowing lawns and shit. And I started because I wanted the Infinity Gauntlet saga, which was new. And I had this friend that was all into comics and he got me into them. So I went and got all those. The thing about comics with me is as I got them, like, I started to get to this point where as soon as I got home with some new comics, I wanted to go back and get more.
Yeah.
It's like you get these new comics and you feel like you've got this like, oh, beautiful thing that, you know, only you have, even though you know everybody else has it. And you want to just go back and collect more of this beautiful art and these stories and find out, like, you get obsessed with these different characters and you're like, oh, I want to go get, that's how I got into the Sabretooth shit. It's because he showed up in the Infinity War series. And I was like, man, I fucking love Sabretooth. And I was in the comic shop and I saw that they had just released Sabretooth 1. And I was like, fuck yeah, dude. So I started collecting the Sabretooth comics. And then all of a sudden, like, pretty much every penny I was making with my odd jobs was going to comics and Magic cards. And I was like, okay.
Yeah, right, dude, you get to that point. It's so expensive. Like, because look, you know, it seems cheap because it's like, oh, wow, this, you know, the book is like $2 or $3 or whatever the fucking price of a comic book is. And, you know, that's what it was around my day.
Yeah, me too.
But like, you know,
you want to have more.
Yeah. And you want to get more and more and more of them
too. In the comic shops too, there's like old editions that are not $3. They're like $15 because they're last year's edition or whatever. And they're rare. And but you want them.
Ooh, yeah. That looks cool.
Like, yeah, I'm going to get that $20 book that's from 2 years ago that nobody has. Yeah. Ooh. You know, and it's fucked. And then you go in the comic shop too, and it's filled with shit that isn't comics that you want. Yeah. You know what I mean? It's not like all that fucking cool ass nerd shit, t-shirts and figurines and action figures and statues. And like, it's just like the most dangerous place for a teenage boy with a wad of cash in his pocket to be.
Dude, every fucking dime that I had fucking went to comic. I had a huge comic collection at one point. I mean, it wasn't huge. There's definitely people with much bigger ones, but like I barely have any of those anymore. I think like a smattering of them are still with me, but like I've had to go through so many moves and shit that pretty much my entire collection is pretty much gone now. But
I think you sold a lot of them too, didn't you?
What's that? Yeah, some ended up getting sold, but you know, it's like a lot of them just like got lost in like various moves and shit.
I know that my mom has my Infinity Gauntlet and Infinity War originals because I got those when they were coming out. And I know those are worth money now because of, you know, the storyline and the big movies and shit. I know they're probably not worth tons because they were very popular books back then. Probably a lot of people have them.
Yeah.
But I have, you know, pretty good shape. I kept them in the cardboard backed sleeves and shit. You know, so they didn't get all crinkly, and I was very careful with them. So I know I've got those. My mom's got those in a box at my house.
Well, I've got Preacher back there in fucking hardcover editions that were fucking super expensive, but super nice as well. So that's pretty cool. I've
got the Infinity Gauntlet, Infinity War book as well. I got that when we went to Video Game Underground, that little comic shop that was next to it. Underground. You remember we went there and that shop was just like, and then there was this comic shop next to it and it was like, whoa.
Yeah, I was like,
let's go chill in there.
Video Game Underground. I remember the three of us spent like 45 minutes and it was like, we all made like kind of like token purchases, like, okay. Then went to the other shop, like, oh my God. Let's low down, like $300 from Paul, $300 from Scotty, $300 from TJ.
Dude, I spent a bunch of money in that shop. Oh, and they had an adult comic section, so I bought all like there was like a book that was just like the book of big butts. It's just like all these drawings of women with gigantic asses. I'm like, this is mine now.
Yeah, that was awesome.
I've never actually like gotten to like walk up to a counter with my hentai and be like, I'll take this pornography, please. So. You know?
I'm telling you though, dude, another fucking hobby. I know you guys probably weren't into them. Or did you neither of you guys ever played Magic, right?
I never played it
briefly.
I never played it, but I collected the cards for a brief stint just to fit in with the crowd. So
I went basically from comics to that. Like I stopped doing comics and I started Magic card collecting, and I'm telling you, that was even worse. Because that's like gambling, basically. You don't like with a comic book, you go in, you pick the book you want, you take it home, and you pay whatever it is, right? With Magic cards, there's like a list of 10 cards you really want. And really the only way to get that is to buy packs. And when you get a pack, you're getting fucking cards that you already have, you're getting cards you don't want. You know what I mean? And it's like gambling. It's like so I would buy, all my money was going to like I would buy boxes of packs.
Right,
like the boxes that go to the comic store that have like 100
big starter packs and shit. Yeah,
like you guys remember everyone wanted the Black Lotus. You guys remember that shit?
Yep.
Dude, the Black Lotus was like, by the time I started playing Magic in the 90s, it's an alpha card and it was already banned in play. I never saw one in person. I had some friends that were way into Magic, had some crazy rare old alpha cards. I never once saw Black Lotus. There were also Mox cards, like our artifacts that produced mana of different colors. So that cost 0 to play. All of those are super rare.
A recent at an auction last year in 2019, a Black Lotus card sold for $166,000 at auction.
Yeah,
dude, I'm telling you, like they were so fucking rare. Like I saw one at some shop back in the day, and the guy and this is the 90s. He wanted like $3,000 for the card. And I was like, oh my god,
there's a good chance,
dude. If you bought that card, you should have bought that card for $3,000 because it's worth like.
I was a kid.
Yeah, I know, but
I'm telling you though that they reprinted the Black Lotus, and the reprints of the Black Lotus are worth a lot too. But there's the one that sold for $160,000. I guarantee you that was a mint alpha original. That's the first. That's the first issuing of Magic, the first set of Magic cards.
So the card in question dates back to 1993 and was part of the very first printing of Magic cards ever made.
Yep.
Also known as the alpha.
So that's Magic Alpha. Yeah. So it's very rare to even see a card from an alpha set.
So this particular Black Lotus rated by the Beckett service rates at a 9.5 out of 10. So basically perfect condition.
Yeah, it's near mint, which basically every Magic card is. It's very rare to find a Magic card that's going to get great, especially by Beckett. Beckett is super like their grading system is super sticklery.
Dude, Black Lotus is so rare that even one that was just in good condition, it would probably go for like that 100,000, but you'd probably still get the neighborhood of like 50,000 for it. I mean, they're so fucking rare, dude. You just can't find them.
Some of the cards in the alpha set that are worth a lot of money aren't even great cards. A Black Lotus is a great card. Like it's a deck making card. That's the reason why it's banned. It's because it's basically like 3 mana for free, which in Magic is like unheard of. The closest card to it is called Dark Ritual, which costs 1 black mana and it basically multiplies into 3 mana, but you get 2 basically in the transaction. So it's the only card in the history of Magic where you just get 3 mana for nothing.
Yeah, and, I'm looking at it here. Add 3 mana of any single color of your choice to your mana pool. Oh, that's awesome. Then discard.
Yeah.
Tapping this artifact can be played as an interrupt.
Yeah, so it's basically access to any color mana that you want on the fly at any point in the game. It's incredibly powerful. It's why it was banned in tournament play and like even non-tournament play. Like a lot of people, even if you're just sitting down to play and you had one of those, they would call bullshit because they'd be like,
come on, dude.
That card is overbalanced to the point where it just like you can't beat a deck that has it in there. You know what I mean? I loved Magic, dude. I started getting into Magic around the 3rd edition of cards. I think it's called Arabian Nights, and a lot of those cards are worth a lot of money too. I've got a big stack of Arabian Nights cards, and then it just goes on and on. Like they're still making them. There was just a new set released.
Oh yeah, man. Well, it's still popular. I mean,
it's the most popular card game outside of Pokemon in the world.
Oh, dude, when I was a kid, like there was a Magic tournament. Like it was like I think it was the first one they had. Like it was like a national one, or it might have been international. I'm not sure. Top prize was $1 million.
Yeah. I'm telling you, like, I really enjoyed the like playing with my friends because none of us were rich. We couldn't afford all the best cards. So if you got a really good card, it felt good, in a pack. But none of us had like these optimized decks. So it was about like trying to build these crazy decks to beat your friends and stuff. And I enjoyed it at that. The tournament level is very meta. It's like there are certain decks that everybody plays. You know what I mean? Like you have your choice of like 5 or 10 tournament level decks. Mm-hmm. And the play style of each one of those decks is obviously different, requires a different skill set, but your ability to like be crazy in a tournament setting and try something different, it usually just earns you a loss. Because there are certain meta decks that are just so efficient and unbeatable that you basically have to play one to win.
Well, and then the other thing is too, I mean, like when I was a kid, I collected the Magic cards. A few times I might have tried to play, but I think it was kind of like, especially at that time where I'm just like, people are like, all right, here's the rules. I'm like, okay, cool, rules. And they start going over it. I'm like, that's too many rules. Don't care. Just like, nope. If it can't be explained to me in like rule number 1, rule number 2, rule number 3, that's about as far as I can get. And this was like
Magic
nope.
has got like a simple basic rule set, but it, like any game, it's super complicated in the way things resolve, and there's certain card effects that have different effects based on what's on the board. Like, you got to know all kinds of shit.
Yeah, and
once you learn it, it's hella fun to play. Like, I really wish I had a friend that played Magic, because I've got my old decks and shit, so I could bust out my old shit and just have some fun games. But it's like,
I will tell you this: Stevie still plays Magic.
Oh, does he? Yeah. I did not know that. Well, that's cool.
Stevie's got like a number of decks, dude. So yeah, if you ever want to play, I know he definitely plays still.
There's an online version that I use too, called I can't remember the name of it, but like
Gadget, it's basically the Mathering.
Yeah, it's basically like a free site where you can build decks using any card. You know what I mean? Like, you don't have to own the cards, and you play online. So, you don't have to buy the cards to play. I used to play that with my friend Jason a lot, because I'm not trying to buy Magic cards anymore. Fuck that shit.
No, that shit's too expensive. I think it's a money hole. I mean, they really are. Comics are a money hole. Magic cards are a money hole.
Some people make a lot of money doing it, though. There's this guy called Alpha Investments on YouTube, and he's basically like, that's what he does. He buys giant bulk orders of old Magic card packs that are unopened for exorbitant prices, and in hopes that he will pull a Mox Ruby, a Mox Emerald, a Black Lotus, yada yada yada, and then he sells those, and he makes a ton of money. So,
well, that's pretty cool.
For most people, it's just a sink. It's just a money hole.
Did you ever see the Time Walk, Paul?
The Time Walk? Oh yeah. Time Walk is like take an extra turn after this one. Yeah.
That wasn't, dude. That was another fucking crazy ass. So I'll tell you what, dude. If he buys those ones, because I'm looking at the values of them, they say Time Walk can be valued as low as 10 or as high as 17. Mox Ruby can go for about the same, up to 17. Ancestral Recall, that can go anywhere from 11 to 20, and of course Black Lotus, just the sky's the fucking limit on that one.
Yeah, I mean, if you can find a mint Black Lotus, you're gonna make $500,000. Like, if you can find a Beckett graded 1010 Black Lotus, that's a $500,000 probably in your pocket at auction.
Let's do the Time Walk again.
The most expensive card that I ever had, I pulled out of a pack, and it was Nevinral's Disc, which is an artifact that destroys every creature and land in play. So it's basically like a game reset. Super powerful artifact. But I was stupid. I got it, and one of these kids that was into Magic, I didn't really play with him a lot, but he knew I played Magic, and he knew the types of cards that I was into. I was trying to get Singear Vampires. I wanted to build a vampire deck, like an all black mana vampire deck. And Singear Vampires were not rare, but I just hadn't pulled but one out of packs. And so he came to me and he was like, dude, I'll give you 3 Singears for that. I know you're looking for Singears. I'll give you 3 Singears for your Nevinral's Disc. And I was like, done. And then I told my friends that I played with what I'd done, because they knew. They were like, dude, let me see your Nevinral's Disc. And I was like, dude, I traded it. I traded it for, they were like, oh, what'd you trade? I was like, I got 3 Singears. They were like, you're a fucking moron. Those Singear Vampires are worth like 30 cents, and that Nevinral's Disc is like an $80 card, you stupid fuck. I was like, oh, whoops.
Dude, I had one called Lord of the Pit. This is from the Alpha deck. My mom actually bought it for me because I begged her, and it was like $27.
I
looked it up. Yep. And it's now worth about anywhere from 5. Depends on the market, but it can go as low as 200, but it goes all the way up to $700.
Yeah, I've got a Lord. He was I had a demon deck. The coolest card that I had back in the day was Demonic Tutor. Demonic Tutor.
I remember that one. Yeah.
Yeah, it was I think 2 mana, 1 black, 1 colorless, and you could search through your deck and find any card and put it in your hand. So it was basically a way to cheat and get the card that you needed for your win condition at any point. And you could have up to 4 in your deck. I had 4 Demonic Tutors, and then they limited Demonic Tutors in tournament play to 1 per deck. And my friends tried to enforce that on me, and I was like, fuck you. I'm keeping 4. This is not a tournament. Well,
by the way, Paul, those are worth $857 now.
I've got, I don't have an alpha one, but I've got Demonic Tutors. I've got 4 of them. So I don't know.
Shit, dude. Apparently they've gone up. They've done nothing but gone up in value too.
So the problem with my cards is I didn't take care of them. There's a few cards that I put in sleeves, but they were all play cards. I played with them, you know what I mean? So I wasn't really looking to collect them. So a lot of my cards are in very poor condition. They're heavily played, frayed on the edges. Some of them with maybe even like some little kinks.
Yeah, well, apparently I should have held on to them just as collector's items, even though I didn't play. But
I gave Stevie a bunch of my Pokemon cards, which by the way are super rare. He still has some of them, and they are worth a ton of money. And I kick myself all the time, like, I fucking gave Stevie fucking basically, like, if you look at it now, about $10,000 worth of Pokemon cards.
Maybe even more, dude. Those cards are insane.
Fucking holographic Charizard. I had a Japanese holographic Charizard in fucking.
If you had a Japanese first edition holographic Charizard, that card alone is worth $10,000.
Let's see.
Please
I can guarantee you, in good condition. I guarantee you, an original printing first edition Japanese Charizard is.
Sleeve. I had a Pokemon book. They've been kept in a sleeve for like 20 years.
That's fucking crazy.
Now I can't say. I don't know if it's an alpha. If it's like the first edition of it. I know my holographic Charizards were first edition U.S. release, but I'm not sure about the Japanese. I have a Japanese Raichu, which I believe is a first edition. Well, I gave them to Stevie, so no, they're no longer mine. But a first edition Raichu, not as desirable, of course.
So did you say that your Charizard was a Japanese one?
I believe it was, yeah.
Okay.
If it was a Japanese first edition, it's worth a lot of money. If it was a foil Japanese,
it was 20 years ago. But if it doesn't exist, then my memory is obviously wrong.
As far as I understand, the most desirable card in the Pokemon universe is an original printing Japanese foil Charizard. You know, because they do that in these games. Like some of the cards are, you know, foil.
Dude, because I would go to the coast, dude, and I would just buy deck after deck. Like, dude, all my birthday money was basically Pokemon cards and hoping to get like a Charizard or hoping to get something like that.
Charizard.
Japanese foil. Oh, cause it was all about the full card too. Because you sometimes we get just the face card, and you're like, okay, that's cool. You know, I'm fine with that. You know. So it's saying that the 1999 Pokemon Gym Leaders Japanese Blaine's Charizard. Someone is on eBay asking about $700 for it.
So I saw an episode of fucking Pawn Stars, where a dude brought his Pokemon collection in, and it was basically nothing but Charizards, like all of the old Charizards, and there were a couple of them that were worth more than the rest of the cards combined just alone. Like he had a couple of ultra rare fucking first printing mint fucking Charizards. And they ended up not buying it because they couldn't afford his collection. Because in total it was like, you know, $500,000 worth of fucking Pokemon or some shit.
Oh yeah, dude. Some people like collected them and then just get. I'll tell you what, at the time, just no one ever thought about that shit, like, for the most part.
Let me ask you if you can recognize any of these, because this is the top 15 most expensive Charizard cards. And I know it wasn't this, because I remember seeing
it's probably something super rare. No, I would
all right, so you just tell me, you just stop if you tell me if you see it in here. Okay. Is this it? Because this is Japanese. But...
No, it was not Pocket Monsters, no.
Okay. So that one?
No, it was not Dark. That one.
All right.
You had that one?
Was it this one?
I'm pretty sure that was the one we had.
This is from 2002, so you probably had an earlier one, right?
No, that's right around when I was. I'm pretty sure that's when I was collecting it. Maybe it's not this one exactly, but it looked a lot like this one.
So this is 2002 Pokemon Charizard Rev Foil Legendary Collection 10.
Gem Mint 10.
No, mine was in this. Yeah, I doubt mine is in fucking mint condition.
All right,
I doubt mine would be. It wasn't that one.
There's some other ones that. So you think that you're pretty sure that's the picture because there's.
No, I had this one too. Oh, that's 2016. Okay, now remember. I had one look just like that, but that's from 2016. I guess that's not it. Right. I had that one.
This is the one?
No, that's the one I had.
You sure?
The Japanese basic.
Because this is 1996.
Well, we lived in Washington, so there was a lot of kids from all, and like people would trade cards and stuff. And this is the card I ended up getting. I think I traded like another. I think I got like a Mewtwo or something. I traded for it.
Yeah, this one's probably undervalued because it's not Gem Mint; it's Mint 9. So it's probably
this is about like $3,000 right here.
It would probably be 4 or 5 if it was Mint 10.
my god!
Now, if you
Yeah,
had
you
this
can
one,
see-
This one for sure.
this is
This is
500.
the one. This is the one that the guy had.
Are you fucking kidding me right now, dude? Are you fucking joking?
This is the one that the guy that went on that fucking episode had. He had this holographic and non-holographic, all Gem Mint 10 PSA graded, and he like it was ridiculous the amount of money he had.
Well, here,
up
hold
the
on.
table.
So here it is.
Yep.
Here's a $15,000 one.
Yep.
I think I was collecting in '99. I might, maybe I was.
And here's one that was sold for $20,000.
Yeah. This is this is the first printing.
Headphones down. Oh fuck, dude! Charizard strikes again.
Yep.
Scotty's,
That's
there's nothing.
150 grand.
You know what, Scotty? That's just money that just slipped right through your fingers.
Fucking believe this shit, dude. I cannot fucking believe how much these things are worth. And I had like 5 of these. Oh my. Okay, that's fine. It's fine. Doesn't matter.
Dude, if Stevie still has them, you should tell him. Like, fucking sell that shit and give me the profit.
Dude, I'm going to rob Stevie tonight, dude. Like, man, my Pokemon cards are missing. That's a tragedy, man. I'm so
All
sorry.
right, Scotty. Here's how you play it, Scotty. Go to Stevie and be like, "Hey, Steve, remember them Pokemon cards I was letting you hold on to? I'm gonna need those back."
Yeah, dude. Look, I really need them. Like right this.
Remember
minute.
those Pokemon cards I let you borrow? Just
Just go over to Stevie and be like, I'd like to repurchase those Pokemon cards for you. Would a hay penny do?
I'll actually next time I go over there, I'll ask to see them, and I'll always bring them on the show and show people because I know we have some of them.
Yeah,
for sure. And we can always like which one.
Pokemon. Yeah.
I'll just twist Stevie's arm and like we'll sell them and I'll like Stevie, look, I mean I really gave these to you. I deserve like at least like 80, 90%, maybe even 100%.
It's been a very nerdy grease trap.
we've been geeking on this grease trap. People are gonna hate it. They're gonna be like,
I don't know
anything about Pokemon. Who cares?
Well, you know.
Pokemon fucking sucks. You're a little fucking baby, Scotty. You're a fucking baby.
Knowing our audience, they'll probably be like, finally, a real conversation.
I hope they move on to anime next.
So, you want to say that? I don't know.
That would be the perfect grease trap if the last half hour was a discussion of my personal favorite anime.
I love the fans that do that. They're like, please do this. It's like, man.
And it's just like some shit that
You know who honestly is a terrible offender on that actually is a pretty, like works with us even sometimes, is Coolman. He's always like coming with these episodes like, man, you gotta do this metal band or whatever the fuck.
Yeah.
He's always like, man, fucking infant corpse grinder you gotta fucking do a fucking episode on that, man. It's like,
yeah.
What?
He's always bugging me to do a black metal episode.
Black metal, like, dude, black metal.
It's just like, dude, I know one black metal band that I kind of am into, and only because fucking Varg Vikernes was in it. You know what I mean? I like Burzum because Varg was in it, and I like the lore behind it. But I'm not a big. I can't listen to Grover metal, dude. I can't do Muppet metal. I can't. Yeah, I just can't. I can't do Muppet metal. It ain't my thing.
Muppet metal.
Yeah, I mean, like, dude, the most I even dipped a toe into metal for the most part was like, I tried to go to a Cradle of Filth concert, and that did not fucking pan out because it was all ages, then it was changed to 21 plus.
Yeah, like, dude, I'm trying to remember the name of the band that opened for Tool when I went and saw them. Meshuggah.
Oh, Meshuggah. Yeah, I think it's like,
yeah.
I've seen Meshuggah. Just a total jam out band, dude.
I went, we got there and I didn't know much about Meshuggah, and I listened to them play about half of a song, and I was like, I'm going to the smoking area until Tool comes on. I don't care about no Meshuggah. It just wasn't my shit,
That's pretty much how I felt too. I mean, I obviously I didn't smoke, but it was kind of just like, okay, let's get Meshuggah over with so I can hear Tool.
How dare you guys fucking insult Meshuggah, my favorite fucking band, dude.
Go. Name a Meshuggah song.
Yeah, name one Meshuggah song without looking it up as you're doing right now.
What are you talking about? So how about Future Breed Machine, dude?
Future Breed Machine, yeah.
Yeah. Or Straws Pulled at Random. That's a good song.
Oh yeah.
Or
yeah.
their hit Bleed. Yeah.
Oh yeah. Yeah, Bleed.
Bleed.
I know that one. That's a good one.
Bleed. What do you guys think about their most recent album from 2016, The Violent Sleep of Reason? That's a good album. Solid.
The Violent Sleep of Reason. Yeah.
Yeah,
Definitely
my favorite track off
one.
of that is Born in Dissonance, you know?
Yeah.
It's a good
You
song.
do know Meshuggah. I'm sorry.
Yeah,
I take
see,
it back,
like the
TJ.
back of my fucking hand, you know?
You're clearly a Meshuggah fan.
It'd be like the official soundtrack of the Hatred character, dude.
Yeah.
Let's listen to the
Born in
let's listen to the
Dissonance.
fucking obligatory 5 seconds of Born in Dissonance, dude.
Just the name of that is so edgy. It's got to be an edgy song. Skip into it a little bit.
All right,
we
so it's
don't
a
just
4
get
minute
the
and
intro.
33 second song. So you tell me.
Just a minute 30.
Stop. Okay.
Stop.
Well, you guys can't hear it yet anyway until I share screen, so it doesn't really matter. So you said a minute 30?
Yeah, a minute 30.
All right, I got to share my screen with you guys to share this, but that's cool.
I want to hear 5 seconds of a minute 30.
Okay.
Because that song name.
All right, you guys both got the stream going?
Yeah, I
Yep.
got it.
All right.
Let's hear it.
3, 2. Kind of underwhelming, but
Yeah.
bum ba-dum 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 bum ba-dum. Cool cover though.
Yeah, I mean, they've got this like Giger looking cover, which is kind of cool.
See if he actually sings at one point. No? Okay. Well, whatever.
I mean, with metal,
Well-
it can be. I mean, who knows? That could be an instrumental only track. The singing could be very spread throughout. You never know.
You know.
Give me a cookie. Da, 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 da. Want a cookie. Da, 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 da.
You remember
can't
that
do it.
fucking Brian Posen fucking guy that like he's like
Brian
a comedian?
Posehn.
Yeah.
He was in Devil's Rejects and a bunch of other horror movies.
He did he's like a big metal fan and shit, I guess. And back in like the new metal days, he did some kind of like parody that you made me think about when you were doing that cookie thing. It was like the video started with like him watching some shitty metal video and he's like, this isn't metal. Any idiot could do this. And then like his girlfriend or whatever the fuck wife, I don't know what his relationship status was at the time, was like, you're an idiot. You should do it. And he's like, all right, I will. And then like it cuts to him and like he's doing like this metal video and shit.
Yeah.
What the fuck was it called? I remember there was like a part in the song where he was like something about screaming like a Wookiee and then Cookie Monster vocals. And he was just like, cookie, cookie, cookie.
Yeah. Yeah, I can't deal. I like
was
Brian
that
Posehn though.
Yeah.
His stand up is actually kind of funny and deadpan.
Yeah.
I don't know
Yeah.
if you ever heard his stand up.
Yeah. I've seen a
kinda-
little bit of his stand up before.
He's reminiscent of Stephen Wright, kind
Yeah,
of. He's
kinda.
like a nerdier Stephen Wright.
Yeah. I saw a bit of him not too long ago. I think maybe like within this month actually of him talking about some bands he hates, like Arcade Fire and
Yeah, I love Arcade Fire. So Brian
Vampire-
Posehn can eat a dick. Never mind, he sucks.
Vampire Weekend he hates.
Okay, they suck.
And
I don't like
what was the
Vampire
other one?
Weekend.
What was the other one he hated? God, it was the one that does that stupid Believer song. Believer.
Oh,
Believer.
Imagine Dragons.
Yep. That was the one he really seemed like the majority of his hatred was.
Yeah, they suck.
Was
So I
toward.
agree with 2 out of 3 there. I think he's throwing some unnecessary shade at the Arcade Fire because
Well, the punchline to the joke was that he hopes that Imagine Dragons is caught in an arcade fire for an entire Vampire Weekend. So I think that maybe it was
Okay.
like part of it was to build that, but
But
it was funnier when he did it too because he built it up.
But none of those bands are metal bands.
Right. Well, that was his complaint, was that they sounded metal, like the name sounded metal, but he was like, Dragons is supposed to be metal. Fire is supposed to be metal. Vampires are supposed to be metal. And these bands fucking suck. It's pussy metal.
Yeah, they're not even metal. They're like alternative.
It's like pussy rock.
rock.
I don't know.
Yeah, pussy rock. Yeah.
I don't know.
I'd say Pussy Rock.
I never listened to
Pussy Rock.
I never listened to Arcade Fire, so I don't know. The only the only one I was familiar with was Imagine Dragons, and only because their fucking Stupid Believer song was used in every trailer. Like a year or two ago.
I know Chelsea enjoys the Arcade Fire. There's a song called Tunnels that you should listen to.
Believer.
But yeah, Imagine Dragons is bullshit.
They're trying to trick me into fucking seeing that shit again too. Remember we saw the trailer for what was that fucking movie? The Kenneth Branagh one, you know, I am Hercule Poirot, the train one. What the fuck was it called?
Fucking Express?
Orient Express.
Yeah. And we're like, whoa, that trailer's fucking badass. And it had that Believer in there and shit. It was like one of the first ones that did it. It's like, Believer. It's like, whoa, man, this is going to be a crazy movie. And we saw it's like, man, the movie fucking straight up sucks.
Oh, dude, I know. Such a disappointment, dude.
And now
I was so looking forward to it.
I just saw there was like a trailer for a new one. It's like Murder on the Nile or some shit. And it's like, I am back as Hercule Poirot. It's like, well, you sucked the first time, so I don't know about this. But maybe
looking back on that, I don't think that necessarily Kenneth Branagh.
No, I mean he didn't.
I just think that the movie itself sucked.
Didn't he direct it too, though?
He did.
Yeah, so he fucked it up director wise. I mean, character wise, like he played it all right. He played it fine. That's true.
He was definitely one of the more memorable characters, and there were some characters that were decent. Johnny Depp was in it.
Well, I mean, like they had the big selling point of that movie was like, whoa, this is like got a great cast, you know. And it's based on an Agatha Christie mystery, so it's like it should be pretty fucking.
I remember when we did our reaction, because you remember we used to go to the movies and then just film like a reaction video and put it up on Cinema for Cynics. I remember a bunch of people were like pissed at us because we were like, some of the shit we bitched about was actually in the Agatha Christie novel, and we were like,
so what? Maybe it was handled better there, or maybe like we wouldn't have liked it there either. I don't know. I never read it.
Yeah.
Well, here's my big criticism of Kenneth Branagh. Like he generally has a great cast because he's an actor himself, like a Shakespearean actor at that. So like usually the performances in the movies are really good, but a lot of the other parts tend to drag. He kind of tends to make it like what a lot of actors do when they fall into the thing. It becomes very character driven, but it also comes at the expense of the plot, where it kind of just feels like the movie like. There's some really great scenes, but it's all kind of punctuated between like, how does it all connect? And the connections seem to be the part where it frays a lot of times when actors direct movies. Not always, but I've noticed that.
Kenneth Branagh, for me, like I understand what people don't like about him because there's a lot of people that are not fans.
I'm a fan.
He's a stagey actor.
Yeah,
like he's definitely like he's a stage trained actor. He brings that to his movies, so there's a bigness to his performance.
I usually dig his acting, honestly, but his directing is more hit and miss for me.
Well, definitely this fucking Orient Express shit was a miss, but maybe he'll do better with it. I'll check it out. I probably won't pay full price for it. I'll wait till it comes out on fucking, Netflix or some shit, but I think that the character could work. It's just the movie that was built around the character was not good.
Yeah, and like, hey, I haven't read the Agatha Christie novel, so I didn't know anyone complained about that. But if anyone that complained about that then is still watching now and still is aggrieved, I'll just let them know that, like, first of all, Agatha Christie is not like that. Doesn't mean that she never made a mistake or whatever. You know what I mean? Like, I can still criticize Agatha Christie. Second of all, maybe it worked better in her fucking book than it did in the movie. Once again, I don't know.
Maybe so.
But I can tell you that in the movie, like.
It's the job of, if you're going to adapt something from a book to a film, it's the job of the person who does that adaptation to pick the things in the book that work on film and to get rid of the things that don't. So if we were bitching about something that was canon in the books, that doesn't remove the criticism of it. It shouldn't have been in the movie if it didn't work, and it didn't. There were multiple things about that movie. I don't remember it because it was very forgettable. Once we did our fucking review of it, it pooped out my head because it was just an unmemorable movie.
The big twist was just like, everybody did it was the fucking twist. Like everyone on the train was like part of this plot, and that was like the discovery. Oh, and it was also like justified and like to some way because there was like a child murderer or whatever the fuck. So
it was bullshit. I don't know. Fuck anybody who's defending that movie because it sucked. It was not entertaining. I don't care how close to the Agatha Christie fucking novel.
Yeah, that misdirection angle. Yeah, the misdirection angle is like, look, I'm not saying I'm no criticism of the novel. I've never read it, but the movie just fell totally flat with me. good performances, but not enough to save overall. Like, I just feel like the ending of it was like kind of like supposed to be this big revelation. I kind of felt like meh. Like, okay, cool. I kind of finally get off the train now. I feel like I was a prisoner on the train, you know?
Yeah.
So, like, whatever. I mean, there's parts of it I liked. I've seen far worse movies and watched far worse movies, but
yeah.
for
So I mean,
caliber of cast, I was disappointed.
I'll probably end up watching Death on the Nile because I'm kind of a sucker for these murder mysteries, honestly. But
yeah,
I'm not.
I mean, especially if they get another really good cast, because that one, you know,
I mean, they got let's see who they got. Kenneth Branagh's in it. Armie Hammer's in it. Gal Gadot's in it. Letitia Wright. I'm not really sure who that is off the top of my fucking head, but I might recognize her face if I saw it. Let's see. No, I don't recognize her. Oh wait, she's in Black Panther and stuff. Okay, yeah. Okay, Rose,
the sister in Black Panther.
Let's see,
the tech sister or whatever.
Yeah, it looks like it.
Okay, cool.
I think that's right.
She's a good actress.
Rose Leslie. Who the hell's that? Oh, she's in Game of Thrones. Okay.
Who did she play in Game of Thrones?
Let me see. Who the fuck? I'm really bad with faces. Especially women's faces.
Doesn't it say there?
Yeah, it probably does. There's a long IMDb here. Give me a second. Ygritte. I don't fucking know.
Yeah, she was the wild. She was the wild woman that Jon Snow falls in love with.
All right, well there you go. There,
so, she's good.
She's in it, and fucking, you know, it's not quite as like all-star cast as last time. Looks like Russell Brand is in it as Dr. Bessner.
I like Russell Brand.
Tom Bateman. Yeah.
The name sounds familiar.
He was in the first one too, so I guess he's a recurring character that I've just forgotten about completely. But whatever, you know.
I'll check it out.
Murder mysteries can be fun. But usually not super memorable though. Like it's not like usually a good murder mystery is like who done it.
I ended up finishing Knives Out and really liked it. So
I'm glad that you finished that because you know I remember you said that you watched it like well they gave away the ending too quick. It's like well that's like a kind of a red herring. So
right, it was it worked out really good. I liked that movie a lot. I just had to push through.
I really love. I loved Daniel Craig in that movie. He was fucking.
Oh yeah, he definitely had a great presence, and they had a great. You know, I think that that's based on a novel as well.
Yeah,
I think it's a serial. I think it's based on a detective book. I may be wrong.
I will say this, TJ. I know you say that a lot of murder mysteries are forgettable, but Alfred Hitchcock would like to disagree with you because a lot of his films are, you know, if you go to the IMDb top 250, they're a lot of them. Now, I would say it's from the 50s. I mean,
I wouldn't really necessarily. I'm trying to think of one of his. I would just say like this is an outright like murder mystery in the sense that I'm thinking about.
Well, Rope for sure.
Well, Rope, you know who did it the whole time.
Sure.
So it's not really a mystery.
But I mean. Well, I mean, I'm not the Rope. There's one with like the apartment. I'm trying to think of the name of this one. Well, I guess you're right. I guess in the traditional sense, yeah. Well, because you do know who does it in that one too. I'm not talking about Rope. I'm talking about a different one.
I guess you could almost.
No, I guess you're right. I guess maybe. Well, I don't know. I don't want to say you're right necessarily.
You could consider Psycho a murder mystery, maybe, but not. It's not like in the sense that I'm. Like
I guess
I'm really talking about these.
But, you know, here's the thing: for you to be right, you have to very narrowly define to a very specific subgenre.
So you're right, and that's true. So, but basically, what I would say when I'm talking about a murder mystery, I'm talking about a big cast. Someone died. Like I'm talking about like Clue. You know, like
who done it?
Like a who done it movie. Like basically, there's a bunch of people. Someone's killed. There's an investigator. Usually it's an eccentric character that's like, I'm going to get to the bottom of this. And, you know, usually they're underestimated. A lot of the movie. Yeah. And they're like.
Also, they're hand-holding the audience. The whole, that's a really big role. I mean, I agree with you. Daniel Craig actually, I mean, better than really those James Bond roles he's done. Like that, he did a really great role in Knives Out. And even Orion Johnson, or whatever his name is, like that's a really good movie. I didn't think he did a total disservice to Star Wars, but I did enjoy Knives Out.
I just don't think he was the right fit for Star Wars, honestly.
I actually looked it up. And Knives Out is not based on a book. It's just designed to feel that way. It's inspired by a ton of other murder mysteries and pulls minor plot details from them so that it feels familiar, but it is actually its own.
That's kind of cool.
Unique property.
And I think they did a good job with it.
Yeah, they did.
It really does feel like some kind of classic mystery story.
I loved it, dude. After I watched Knives Out, because I know you guys probably do this too. If a movie is kind of like of mild interest to me, I might say, oh, it's late, or I want to do something else, and I'll come back and watch the rest of it later. Knives Out, I watched start to finish.
Yeah. That's kind of. I mean, yeah, movie. I'm the same way. Like, if a movie's mildly interesting to me, it could be like 10 years. I'll be like, I guess I'll finally watch this. A lot of times I'll be like, fuck, I should have watched that sooner. Other times I'll be like, well, I'm glad I didn't fucking, glad I held off. But there's definitely been times when I've like sat on a movie for a while and just been like, maybe. And then I'll finally end up watching like, holy shit, I enjoyed that way more than I thought I was going to. I should have fucking checked that out sooner. But whatever. There's also been times, there's certain movies I've watched where like, it's very, like, I have a very different reaction to them every time. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
I have a really fucking weird relationship with Return of the Living Dead Part 2, the sequel to Return of the Living Dead, which is
the graveyard one.
Yeah.
Where the grave robbers and the kid that finds the canister.
And it's like way more like kid friendly for some reason. And
it feels cartoony.
Yeah,
almost.
it does. It does feel way more. I mean, like, I guess the original kind of had a cartoonish vibe too in some ways.
But this one is more, it goes further in that comedy direction.
And so I remember the first time I watched that, I was like, this sucks pretty bad. And then the second time I watched it, I was like, maybe not as bad as I thought. And then the third time I watched it, I'm like, still pretty bad.
It's my least favorite of the Return trilogy. I think Return 3 is better in every way.
Oh yeah, Return 3 is better for sure.
It's not a bad movie though.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, I've ultimately come to the conclusion that it's a disappointing follow-up, but not in and of itself a bad movie.
I think they redeemed themselves a lot with Return 3.
Yeah,
Return
that was a cool concept.
Different...
Yeah, they took it a totally different direction. And that ending is just so memorable, where they're like, they both like just burn themselves while they're like fucking or whatever. It's
like it's a callback. It's a callback to Return 1. Remember when the guy loads himself up into the thing so he doesn't become a zombie.
But it was way more dramatic this time. Yeah,
hangs his wedding ring on the switch. Yeah, and then crawls in and burns himself. So it was like a callback to the first movie.
Crazy shit.
So, really good though. I love that trilogy. I think that's a great.
I wish it was just a trilogy, but unfortunately, a lot of cash grab new entries have been made into it.
Well, I don't consider those. I look at the first three and I say that's the Return trilogy, and
I
agree with you, man. I honestly hate that shit, dude. I hate that so fucking much. Like when you have movies where it's like, okay, I feel like it's a spirit. It's kind of like what they did with those two Hellraiser movies. You know what I mean? When like Doug Bradley was out of the picture, it's like I tried to watch one of them and I was like, what the fuck? No, it just felt so wrong. You just didn't feel like, and I'm not saying you couldn't have recast it and redone. I mean, I know that happens. People get old, people die. People still want to keep these things alive, sure. But at the same time, when you do it so wrong and so out of the spirit, it just doesn't feel like you're even making it in the same universe.
Mm-hmm. That movie has a dope ass soundtrack as well. The first one.
Yeah, it does. A lot of like weird, gutter punk songs and shit.
Yeah. So
it's good.
So here's how many movies there technically are in the series, if you count all the fucking shitty follow-ups. I guess there's actually not as many follow-ups as I thought. There was actually 2 made in the same year of 2005. Return of the Living Dead Necropolis and Return of the Living Dead Rave to the Grave. I don't know which one of those I tried to watch, but I can tell you that it is not even they're not even remotely deserved to be called Return of the Living Dead.
I've seen them both. I don't remember much about them, but I've seen them both, and yeah, they're not, and I don't consider them to be in the same series.
I don't even consider them to be movies, honestly. They were that bad for me.
Yeah, bad.
When I started watching it, and there was a bunch of teenagers driving around on ATVs and shit, I'm like, this is huh?
Yeah, what is this?
Yeah,
it's pretty hideous, pretty hideously bad.
It's fully hideous. So I'm working on a show, and I know we normally don't reveal a ton of stuff about shows before they get on, but my show that we're going to be filming this week is about homages versus ripoffs. And I actually discovered one on my own that'll be covered in more depth in the episode, but that I thought was interesting. Dark City and the Matrix.
Oh, really?
So Dark City.
Yeah.
Dark City came out in 1998. The Matrix came out in 1999. And if you look at those movies, they're so similar in terms of like overall premise that it's hard to tell whether there was an homage going on, a ripoff, or just two people had the same idea. Because Dark City is basically about a guy. It's different because he's not in a machine, but it's basically about a guy that lives in a world that he thinks is real and finds out that it isn't. And he also finds out that he can control things in that world with his powers.
Right.
And the Matrix is about a guy that lives in a world that he thinks is real, finds out it isn't, and then finds out that knowledge gives him powers to manipulate the world.
Oh, yeah. And they both have like sort of like these sort of like antagonistic
the
creatures,
Matrix,
like they have the agents in the Matrix,
dude.
and I forget what they're called in Dark City, but it's like
the strangers.
yeah, agents versus
and
strangers.
And there's a lead stranger in Dark City named Mr. Hand, who is basically like Agent Smith.
Yeah.
There's even a line where he sees the guy for the first time and he goes, Mr. Murdoch, just like Agent Smith goes, Mr.
Anderson. Yeah.
So it's just like it's very much like I'm watching these. I like watching that movie again. I was like, fuck, this is basically the Matrix. Like, did they make the Matrix twice? Who ripped who off? Is this an homage? Was the Matrix like an homage to Dark City, or was it just a full lifting of the premise? And because it came before.
Honestly, sometimes too, there's just like there's something in the zeitgeist where like it just two very similar things emerge at the same time.
I can buy that, but these when you start digging down into the details, they're so fucking similar. It's like, okay, if it was just a movie about a world that isn't real, there's tons of those. A Truman Show, blah,
sure.
You know? Yeah, you think,
but a lot of the
same
same story beats are being hit, and honestly, like even when I'm thinking about it, like a lot of the visuals too are pretty similar.
Yeah, it's got that dark, gritty neo noir feel throughout it.
There's definitely more of a gothy sort of vibe to Dark City, but there's a little bit of that in the Matrix too, especially with like
a little bit. You remember that club he goes to?
Yeah,
the goth club, and look at how Trinity looks in the movie. They're both goth movies.
There's some BDSM elements in at least the Matrix. I don't know about Dark City, but
there's some like he is in Dark City. He's pursued by the strangers because he's been set up as a serial killer.
Right. Yeah.
And the serial killer has sadistic BDSM. He cuts up women before he kills them and carves things into their flesh as they're alive and shit. So there's definitely some sadomasochism in it as well.
You know, what movie I like is I don't know why I started thinking about this all of a sudden, but The Frighteners.
Yeah,
that's a fucking underrated movie.
It is. It's pretty good.
Probably my second. I mean, like other than the Back to the Future movies, probably my favorite turn for Marty McFly there, whatever the fucking real name is, Michael J. Fox.
Right
before the Shakes took him.
Yeah, dude. In Dark City,
don't mean Murdoch to be offensive or nothing.
In Dark City, Murdoch is not his real name. It's like the same thing. It's like Murdoch, like he finds out that he doesn't really have a name because he was engineered to exist in this, so he gets to pick his own name and blah, 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 blah. Like it's the same shit. It's like almost every story beat in the Matrix is in Dark City. If you really think about it.
Yeah, that's crazy. It's pretty interesting. I've never heard anyone point that out either.
He's got a
and it's weird because they were so close to each other in terms of release. You'd think that like a lot of people watching the Matrix would be like, this is just like fucking Dark City.
Well, Dark City wasn't as popular as the Matrix was. Like Dark City's kind of a cult hit. I mean, it did good, I think, but it wasn't like the cultural phenomenon that the Matrix was. So I mean, a lot of people that saw the Matrix probably never saw Dark City. So it's like,
yeah, that's crazy shit.
Okay. Mr. Murdoch, yes.
So apparently some people have pointed this out, but I'd actually never heard this comparison. But now that you've opened my eyes to it. I'm like, yeah, there's a lot of similarities between these two movies. Doom, doom, doom.
It's a little different in terms of the antagonist, and in the Matrix, the antagonists are machines, and in Dark City they're aliens. But I mean, it's
yeah, I mean, it's still like
the same shit. They're doing the same shit. They're experimenting on humanity by putting them in a fake world and seeing what they do.
Yeah, some kind of outsider creature that's there to fucking
they're trying to figure out the essence. Like this is different. Like their motivations are different. So in the Matrix, their motivation is obviously to use human beings as an energy source.
Right.
In Dark City, their motivation is to try and discover the nature of the human soul and individuality, because they're a collective species that shares one single kind of hive existence. And they're trying to figure out how to be more individualized. But see, the thing is, so Mr. Hand, the Mr. Smith analog, he takes this injection of Mr. Murdoch's memories and learns his individuality. So just like Agent Smith learns to individuate himself from the system and becomes a virus.
Yeah.
Mr. Hand in Dark City becomes more human and gains some of the powers that Murdoch has because he's able to individuate himself. So it's the same. The villain goes through literally the same transition, just with a different story. You know what I mean? He starts off as a member of the hive mind, but then he realizes what makes Murdoch different from him is the fact that he thinks for himself. He injects himself with Murdoch's memories and becomes half human, half stranger.
Yeah.
And, so it's just like fucking Smith. It's like Agent Smith realized he's part of the machine and he can individuate himself from that, and it gives him more power. Same thing happens to Mr. Hand. So very, very, very crazy. Like it's hard as the fucking coincidences rack up. It's hard to make an excuse that there wasn't some kind of either ripping off or homage going on to this film.
Yeah. What the fuck? Why you stole the Matrix?
You got to say inspiration.
It was the Matrix. The Matrix came out second.
Yeah, why'd you steal? That's what I mean. Like, why'd you steal?
They were inspired.
I guess what you mean.
Remember, it's they were inspired.
Right.
It's inspiration.
I mean, like, presented in this way, that I can definitely see the argument, but I don't necessarily know if, because these things do happen. I will say, if I'm going to give them any credit, the Wachowskis, maybe it is. Some of that is coincidence and some of that is intentional. I don't know. It's hard to parse because we weren't there when they were creating it. We don't know if they just, because look, they could have taken a notepad out and been like, rip off this movie. Or
what was Keanu's fake first name in that? Do you remember? It was Mr. Anderson. What was his first name?
I don't fucking remember.
Was it John?
Yeah, I think it could have been John, Mr. Anderson.
I don't know. Maybe they don't mention it. But I know that
they might not. They might actually not say.
In Dark City, the guy's name is John Murdoch, his fake name that the strangers have given him.
Thomas A. Anderson.
Thomas. Okay. So just another very similar name. Just a very biblical
one
apostle-based name. Yeah.
Well, not
yeah, it starts to stack up, dude. You start to, like, the more I think about it, the more I see the analogs to it, because like Murdoch in Dark City, right? He's got basically a Morpheus character in Kiefer Sutherland's character who red pills him, basically, who comes to him and tells him, like, the strangers have taken, this place isn't real. You know, everything that you believe happened to you in your life is just a memory created by these people, by these beings, you know. So he has a Morpheus moment where he learns that reality isn't real, and there's another character that already knows it that leads him to that knowledge. That character helps him unlock his power, just like Morpheus does. So Morpheus helps Neo learn how to use his power in the Matrix, and Dr. Schreiber, played by Kiefer Sutherland, teaches John Murdoch how to harness his power within the Dark City. Yeah. It's
just hard to think. I mean, I don't know how, I don't know what the history of both these screenplays are. So, yeah. I mean, like, sometimes, like, the case is that, like, someone comes up with an idea and then two
multiple
people
screenplays
two
are made out
two
of that
people
idea.
pursue the same idea, and it could end up
happens a lot of times in Hollywood. The Illusionist and The Prestige are two movies that are very similar.
came out right around the same time. Deep Impact and Armageddon, Volcano and Dante's Peak.
Yeah, so this is something that happens in Hollywood. Like these ideas get chopped around. Maybe one studio lost out on that, and so instead of like, okay, shit, this other studio is making Dark City. Oh, these people have a similar idea for The Matrix, so we'll just go on ahead and make The Matrix instead.
Yeah,
It's very weird though.
But I mean, they came out so close to
strange.
each other that it's kind of hard to like say like, oh, I mean, it could even be that that Dark City is a fucking Matrix ripoff. But the Matrix,
maybe like
Dark
Matrix
City
is
came out in
longer.
98.
without
So
knowing the full
essentially-
history of the screenplays and like like I don't know. It's like
I don't know if that information is out there.
It's
you know
probably
what I mean?
not.
It could be.
I know who we can probably find who wrote the screenplays for these, but they're likely different people.
Well, I know the Wachowskis wrote the fucking Matrix screenplay.
right.
So I don't know, but I don't know when they wrote it. I don't know who they shopped it around to. I don't know who they showed it to. I don't know how long they were shopping it around.
And Wachowski had this idea for 10 years, and so it's not really necessarily a ripoff.
Right.
I mean, who knows?
I have
They
no
say
idea.
that they had the idea for 10 years, but a year before, a movie that literally hits all the same story beats as their film was released.
Yeah. So
It's very strange. I guess here's an early rewrite by Alex Proyas, going all the way back to 1994,
Okay.
of the Dark City screenplay.
So there we go
Damn.
for that. So
This
we know
is a fucking web for sure, man.
we know that the Dark City screenplay was in motion in 1994, which is years
But that
before it
doesn't
came out.
mean that the Wachowskis or anyone involved with the Matrix had knowledge of it. Now, very well, maybe a producer or someone involved more in the back end could have had knowledge and said, "Hey, there's this great screenplay. It's similar to yours," and then people can look and borrow and steal and whatever. I mean, it just depends who had the rights to those screenplays, how much information was known about it. But clearly, one thing we know 100% that we know definitively is that the Matrix came out later.
Yeah.
We know that for certain. So they could have
About a
very
year
well
later.
had different ideas about what to make the Matrix. Go out and sit down and watch Dark City and go, "Holy shit, this is inspiration!" And go
The Matrix, probably just looking at the differences between the two movies, because there are a lot. The Matrix
Yeah, of course.
had a longer production time, I can guarantee you, because the special effects in the Matrix, like they invented bullet time for that movie. So
Well, they repurposed it from like Asian cinema.
Right.
I don't want, but
from Hong Kong cinema. I
but they
believe,
definitely
yeah.
right.
they definitely refined it and gave it like a super
a modern
American.
What Paul was saying is the actual scene where he does that. There's a room there's basically a circle of cameras around, and each camera is taking. So like that some of the technology Paul's talking about was invented actually for the Matrix.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now they did borrow like the wire foo stuff that was definitely borrowed.
Yeah, the
was
bullet
borrowed.
time shit where you get that angle of a character from all these different angles. That is a number of cameras firing like almost imperceptibly fast in a circle, so that you're
Yes.
getting every second of the character's movement from every angle, basically.
Right.
Yeah, watching the
And then
Matrix I'd recommend to anybody that has an interest in filmmaking because they did some really innovative stuff. So yeah, I mean it's not to shit on say the Matrix. Oh, the Matrix is a ripoff. There's no value there. But I think you're talking more about the story and the character arcs and stuff like that.
If you think about it, these two movies were likely in production at exactly the same time.
I mean,
Almost
sure.
certainly.
I mean, yeah. I mean, they were definitely in some form of production at the same time when to come out so
So
close
it's
to each
like,
other.
but I've got proof here and this is a revised draft that I was able to find by Alex Proyas of his script or his screenplay for Dark City in '94.
And he was
I don't
definitely
know.
shipping it through Hollywood for sure.
So that's the thing is like when you have these screenplays, these end up on everybody's desk. They end up on agents' desk, and agents send these to other people. So the idea that the Wachowskis could have read this screenplay and been inspired by it is not out of the ordinary.
It's definitely not out of.
But it's also not out of the ordinary because I don't know how long the Wachowski screenplay was floating. So it might be that Alex Proyas read that and was inspired by that and wrote Dark City. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
I
would
mean,
like to.
it could also be that it's just a fucking crazy amount of coincidences.
It's something that definitely we should dive. I know it's mainly gonna be your episode, Paul, but I'll definitely see what I can find on the internet for you and see if we find any comment from
I've got
anyone involved?
I've got a ton of other stuff, so it's just one little part of that, but it's definitely been the one that's interested me the most because I didn't know about it before I started looking into this. A lot of these homages that I've found and ripoffs that I've found, I knew a little bit about prior to, but this one was new to me, and it just happened because I watched Dark City with my girlfriend. She'd never seen it, and I'm watching it, and I'm going like, "This is the fucking Matrix." And as it kept going, more shit, like about halfway through the movie, that Mr. Murdoch happens. And I'm like, what?
Mr.
Murdoch? Mr. Anderson?
All right, so here's
Mr. Hand?
the plot thickens. In 1994, the Wachowskis presented the script for the film Assassins to Warner Brothers Pictures after Lorenzo di Bonaventura, the president of production at the company at the time, read the script. He decided to buy the rights to it and included 2 more pictures, Bound and The Matrix, in the contract. So there was a Matrix script in 1994 as well.
Oh my God.
So how many elements?
Who knows, dude?
Who produced what studio distributed Dark City? Who produced it? Like what was
I'll get that for you right now.
Yeah, because so Warner Brothers options The Matrix, at least for the first time in '94. Did Warner Brothers go on to release?
I took too much out of that. They bought the rights for The Matrix in '94, which means there probably was a screenplay, but it did not explicitly say there was a screenplay. It might have just been the
rights to produce
a concept. They might have had like a, they obviously had an idea, but they didn't.
The idea of The Matrix didn't exist then. Yeah,
right. But they sold The Matrix to Warner Brothers in 1994.
Okay.
So the Matrix existed as a concept at the very least in 1994.
Dark City. God damn it. I just got to go to the IMDb. Dark City.
So Warner Brothers did produce The Matrix ultimately with Village Roadshow Pictures. With another couple of companies and partnerships involved in the funding of that.
Yeah. Okay, where are you finding that information? IMDb wants me to get
the information
it's on Wikipedia.
Yeah, I found it on Wikipedia as well. I just looked at the entry for The Matrix. I was looking at the production and in the development section. There's only one little blurb about it. But basically, it just says they sold the rights to The Matrix and Bound to Warner Brothers in 1994.
Okay, so it's a Fox film and produced by New Line Cinema.
Yeah, New Line was the distributor. Yeah.
So it was shot at Fox Studios in Australia, and it was distributed by New Line.
Well, I'm sure we'll be able to delve more into this on your episode too.
The screenplay was written by Alex Proyas, Lim Dobbs, and David S. Goyer. Do those names show up anywhere on the Matrix screenplays, or is it just the Wachowskis?
It's the Wachowskis, just them.
Okay.
But David S. Goyer has fucking his hands in a lot of pies, so
does Proyas.
Dark Knight. This is Goyer. We're talking about Man of Steel, Batman.
Yeah. I mean, his fingerprints are all over the place. So
yeah.
Alex Proyas is a really
he did iRobot, and
he wrote iRobot. He wrote
The Crow.
He directed The Crow.
I don't know if he wrote. I don't know what he wrote, but I know he directed some of those films. I know that he kind of went off the fucking rails as a director at some point and directed like Lords of Egypt or whatever the fucking gods of Egypt, shit, whatever.
Poo, yeah, no good.
Yeah, so his career, but when he fucking came on the scene and did The Crow and Dark City, I was like, man, this is like my favorite fucking director. And then everything he did after that was shit. So
interesting enough, if you go to Dark City, it has similarities to other works. It has the film style is often compared to that of Terry Gilliam, especially in Brazil. Some other stylistic similarities have been noted in Jean-Pierre Jeunet and Marc Cotto's 1995 film The City of Lost Children, another film inspired particularly by Gilliam. Another by Jeanette and Cotto that was a deliberate homage to Gilliam style. So they're saying like his Terry Gilliam was a huge inspiration, for especially they say Brazil for Dark City as well.
Yeah.
Also Fritz Lang, Metropolis. Of course, that doesn't surprise me at all. That being an inspiration.
Look at this picture of Alex Proyas. What a pimp.
Dude, they should have had him play Baron Harkonnen.
Yeah, look at him.
Oh, by the way, Paul, did you see that picture I sent you of the
My girlfriend brought me those. They went out like they're pre-releasing. They're not available yet, but they're pre-releasing the action figures for the Dune film. When you sent me the Harkonnen one, I hadn't seen it yet because I think they just released the picture of that. But I'd seen the Paul, Duke Leto, Chani, and Raban.
Yeah,
ones. I hadn't seen Harkonnen, but if that's indicative of the suit that he wears in the movie, I'm pretty excited to see it.
Yeah, it looks pretty cool.
Well, yeah,
it looks pretty cool
because they kept that. That was the one that they definitely kept it a secret in the trailer. So it's kind of cool to see it, even if it was on an action figure. But the McFarlane action figures are so detail oriented that you get a pretty good idea of what it looks like.
Yeah, I'm thinking about getting myself a collection of those. It's for display and shit. I'm not a big action figure guy. I don't really have any, but
yeah, but you're like a big Dune fan.
I'm a Dune guy. I definitely am going to be getting a production, a full size, maybe even an oversized production. What you call it? The thing I've got behind me there, poster.
It's like,
I don't know why I was brain farting on the word poster.
One of them wall pictures you put on the
big picture on wall. Tell about movie. You tell about movie. It show picture of movie on it. No.
All right.
So sorry.
All right. This is a grease trap. Let's go.
All right. Yeah.
That's a nerdy ass grease trap. Thank you guys for watching. We'll see you next time.
See you guys.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Big fat